On this episode of the iPhoneography podcast, number 99, we talk about using accessories like lenses, tripods, shutter releases to extend what your iPhone can already do to expand your creativity and its abilities.
It's Monday, August 28th, and this is episode 99 of the iPhoneography podcast. Hey, Dave, how's it going?
I'm doing good, Greg, and yourself?
Oh, pretty good. Episode 99, the Wayne Gretzky. So this is
the second best hockey player of all time.
Second best. Who's the best?
Where do I live?
Well, if you think it's Sidney Crosby, come on.
No.
Mary Lemieux. Yeah, he was good. But if you take away all of Wayne Gretzky's goals, he would still have the most points of anybody in the NHL.
Yeah.
But,
we could get into discussion. I mean, after all, Lemieux did win a scoring title while missing a hunk of the season getting cancer treatment, too.
Yeah. I you got me there because I really I don't know enough about the stats of any hockey player other than,
Yeah, Gretzky's numbers are crazy, but just the story, and we're going off a little cliff. We're coming back quickly soon, folks, but a little bit off a cliff. Lemieux had his last cancer treatment in Pittsburgh, and this is back in '93. Yeah. He had his last cancer treatment for non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in his neck, had his last cancer treatment in the afternoon, hopped on a private plane, flew from Pittsburgh to Philly, played that night, scored a goal and got 2 assists.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. And yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that he was a great hockey player. And there's been a lot of great hockey players. And but this is episode 99 and we'll call it the Wayne Gretzky just because.
Oh yeah.
So that what that means. That means that the next show
we're
is
moving
episode
to LA.
100.
No.
We're moving to LA. Yeah, we're going to move to LA and tick off every Canadian out there.
Yes, we hit triple digits. We hit syndication next episode.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Now, to be totally completely honest, it's not the 100th episode of the iPhoneography podcast as it is now, but it's the 100th episode of the podcast since I've been doing a podcast, which started with the Artful iPhoneography interviews, and it's not including the 10 episodes that David Addison did under the iPhoneography podcast network banner. But as for this show with me as a host and now with you as a co-host, and you came in on episode 35 or something like that.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it might have been before that. Well, before that, yeah.
But anyway, it's episode 100 and coming up, and we got some pretty cool stuff on the go, and we're trying to wrangle up a few people to hopefully join us. Let's put it that way, and we're not going to give too much away, but we're also going to have some stuff that people can win. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, tune in to the next episode. Tell your friends. Try to get as many people in there as you can, because some of the stuff we've got to give out is really, really cool. And before we get started on this week's show, I just want to, I was going through some stuff here, and I made a quick edit on the website. There was a link that wasn't working properly. So, but while I was in there, I was looking at a few things, and I noticed that there's a fella who's been buying me a coffee every month through the Buy Me a Coffee link, and gosh, Raymond Bazensky, you are awesome. You've been doing this for I don't know how long now, quite a while. And I really, really do appreciate it. And you know what? I'm going to do something special for Raymond on the next show, because this is, I really appreciate it so much. I got something special that I've got in mind for him, and so stay tuned for that. Thanks again, Raymond. I really do appreciate it. So now this week we are going to continue in our Picture Perfect series, and we're going to talk about where is it here? Using accessories with your iPhone to do photography. So the outline says using accessories in iPhone photography can expand the capabilities of your device and help you capture more creative and professional looking photos. Here are some popular accessories and tips for utilizing them effectively. So the first one, I'll cover this one because this is something that I use, and it's external lenses. So it says here, the attachable lenses such as wide-angle, telephoto, fisheye, or my favorite, macro lenses can enhance the versatility of your iPhone camera. These lenses allow you to capture different perspectives, zoom in closer, or capture minute details. Choose lenses that are compatible with your iPhone model and experiment with different focal lengths and effects. So, quick backstory on lenses and my journey. Back in 15 maybe, I had my iPhone 6S, and it might have been 2016, but anyway, I was in a store downtown, and a friend of mine runs the store. It's a camera shop, and he was starting to get the odd mobile accessory in, and he says, "Have you seen these little lenses from ProMaster?" And I said, "No." So he brought them out, and he opened it up, and these little lenses they had a little clip that they clip over the camera, and there was a telephoto, a wide angle. Actually, the wide angle and the macro were together. You just unscrew them, and the macro was inside, underneath it. I don't know how it worked, but it's pretty clever. And then there was the fisheye, and gosh, I forget what else. There was 5 or 6 little lenses, and so he said, "Well, try one out." So I went out and I tried the little wide angle, and there was a street thing going on, like they called it the hottest yard sale under the sun. They have it in July, and there's vendors all up and down the street. But there was a flower box outside of his store, decorative thing along the street that the city does, and I took a picture, with the wide angle. And then I realized, okay, you could take this off, and then you got a macro. So I took the macro and I took a picture of a flower up real close. Bang! I was hooked, and I thought, okay. And he was going to let me use this set. Take it home, he says. Try it out. But after trying it out like that, right there in front of the store, I went back in and I said, "How much did you say this was?" And I bought it right then and there. And I thought, well, this is really cool. So in all honesty, I used the macro more than I used anything else. To be honest, too, the quality of the glass in them was not great, because it was like the whole set was about $80, but it was enough to get me hooked on using the macro lens. And it wasn't long after that I bought the Moment, and the rest is history. So these lenses, I resisted getting them for quite some time, because I thought, mobile is mobile. Interchangeable lenses is for traditional photography, and I was done with that. When I sold my Canon gear, I thought, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I'm going to use my phone, and that's it. Well, then, of course, I got hooked on these little lenses, and I started buying a couple of Moment lenses, and as the years went by, and as the phones changed, well, the lenses are changing, and all this stuff. So they're making amazing lenses right now, like Struman Optics, Reflex, Moment, Shift Cam. There's Sandmark. There's so many companies out there that are making these lenses, and I've got a set from Shane Moston, and it's the Shift Cam Lens Ultra series. And I put the macro up, the long range macro for that, up against the long range macro for Reflex. I took the same picture of the same thing, And I like the reflex better. I got to tell you, I'm not going to lie. It just, to me, it just gave me more of what I like in a macro shot. But anyway, I digress. That's, but what these lenses do is they do really expand your creativity. The telephoto. I was just out at a waterfall yesterday, last evening, and I put the telephoto on, and I could get, instead of getting the whole waterfall, I can hone in on a certain part of the Cascades. And, this waterfall has a lot of different parts to it. And I could really hone in on a certain part of it and just put that in the frame rather than crop it out. Then you've got the full resolution, right? And the same goes with the wide angle, the fisheye. I never used a fisheye until I got this set from Shane, and boy, it's a lot of fun to play with. Great for architecture. And all these lenses work great in video too. They can really change the way your video would come out. With the 14 Pro Max here, I've got 3 focal lengths. I've got I think it's a 12 millimeter, 13 millimeter, I think it is, with the ultra wide, 24 with the main camera, and then 48, of course, with the 2 times, and then the 77 millimeter with the telephoto. But with those with these lenses that you could put on, you're if you put a telephoto lens that you get from one of these companies over the telephoto camera, you can get, I don't know how to do the math, but I'm thinking you could get probably something like a 210 millimeter lens. Wow. And that really brings things in close. And of course, the better the quality of the lens, the better quality of the image you're going to get. If you put it on a tripod and have everything hold really still, you can usually come up with a pretty good image. Yeah. So, these little lenses are a wonderful thing, and I wouldn't hesitate now, like after using them a few times for a few years, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend them to anybody that wants to, like I say, broaden your horizons with your creativity. And Dave, you haven't used them before, is that correct?
Not really. No, I picked up a couple of cheapies, literally cheapie as in $5, $10 lens.
Yeah.
At like $5 below, just to give it a try. But the optics, of course, when you're talking that cheap, the optics are being miserable, and they were. Yeah. But it's nice for a macro because it does. Software can only do so much. You still need. You can't get around physics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we've said that many times.
Right. Now, I would say, based on what I've heard you and other people say about the lenses, make sure you have a buffer around the outside of your image, because if there's going to be any problems with the lens chromatic aberrations, any kind of weirdness, it's going to be around the outside.
Yeah.
So if you have an image and you're like, okay, this is the image I have in my mind, this is what I want to shoot, this is the layout, maybe give yourself a little extra buffer around the outside that image in case you have to crop it to get rid of any kind of weird lensing issue.
Yeah, that's a good point. But they are getting better.
Oh yeah,
as the years go on, and
but we're still talking a lens on top of a lens.
Yes, that's right.
So there's still, even if you, especially like I saw the Struman or the clip-ons, that way they don't have to have a case for every phone out there. Yeah, because the 13 and the 14 and the 12 are all kind of close, but not exactly close. So if you wanted to have a case, you would have to have 3 different cases.
Yeah.
Versus the clip-on. Right. So I understand from the, you want to put money and effort into the lens, not necessarily the case.
Yeah, that's right. And
just, like I said, I'm thinking just if you're going to have a picture and you have an image, you have a layout in your mind on how you want to be, just give yourself a little buffer in case you have to, crop in a little bit.
With video, that's really not so much an issue because the video doesn't use the whole the whole sensor. It uses a part of it, and a lot of times you'll see videos of these lenses in use. You'll see them on YouTube, and most times they show video footage taken with these lenses. But when you're looking at buying a set of these lenses, to make sure you find some still images that were taken with them, so you can see, the whole outline of the image. The older lenses on the newer phones, that's where you really run into these problems, like you're talking about, Dave, with the it gets a little softer around the edges.
Mm-hmm.
When I first bought my Moment telephoto lens back in the day, it was the first series they bought, and I had my 6S, I think, and it was really good. Edge to edge was very clear. And it was when I got my iPhone 8 Plus that lens no longer worked because it had vignetting in the corners. And that's when Moment decided, okay, we got to do something about this. So they brought out the M series, which is, it has been the current series up until the new recently released T series. And this new T series, it's made for these newer cameras, as is some of these other companies that are making lenses. So, and Shane and I talked about this on his last live stream. And we talked about these lenses, and should we use them? Should we not? What's the debate there? And we had talked about the different companies that have these lenses, and I love my reflex lenses. I just hope that they come out with something new to work with these newer cameras, because their current lineup, I think, is a few years old, and they're still, the macro is great. They don't even I don't think they have to change their macros at all. But the telephoto and the wide angle, I'm hoping they come out with some kind of an update. That would be so cool if they did. But anyway, these lenses, they can do a lot of different things for your photography and your video work. And, don't be like I was and resist them. And then the other thing is too, you'll see ads on, whether it's Amazon or wherever, these Instagram, all these places, for these little telephoto lenses that look like they're like 3 or 4 inches long. Don't go for them. No. Mike James bought one time just to see how bad they really were. And oh man, they were bad. I mean, it's a good thing they weren't that expensive, because, he knew he was going to be basically wasting his money on it, but he wanted to check them out just to show people how bad they really are, so that people wouldn't go and waste their time and money on them. But the good quality ones, they're going to be, they're going to be $100 plus each, but you get what you pay for, and buy once, not twice. That's for sure. So
and the one other thing before we move on, and this is something I have thought about buying, but I haven't, because it's over $100, and it's something that I don't see myself using a lot. Is a scope with a smartphone adapter.
Oh, okay, yeah, like a digiscope.
Yeah. Well, I'm not familiar, but like
well, the digiscope is like, I think that's kind of like what hunters use to to
something
look for
like
wildlife and that.
Where it's like they actually have like spotting scopes. Yeah, but they have them where they have smartphone adapters, so you could take a picture through that, and they're 2060x.
Oh yeah. So because people have been putting pictures of the moon taken with those things.
Or using a telescope or something.
Really good.
Yes. So just having that little extra, beyond what the iPhone can do. Like I said, it's one of those things, especially like when astronomical things were happening, or taking photos of this or the lunar eclipse type thing, where it's like, okay, the phone, it was like, it's like, but how much would I use it?
Yeah.
It's versus like the type of lens you're talking about, where you could put that in your pocket.
Yeah.
Or keep it in your car, or if you carry, go around with a like a bag or something, or a backpack, little thing. It'll go in there. These things you would think, I'm specifically going out to take photos, so I better take this out and get the tripod and set it up. And it's like, I don't know how much I would use, but it's one of those tempting things.
Yeah. Well, you might surprise yourself and use it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Once you have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might find, you'll take pictures of the moon umpteen dozen times, and then, I can do something else.
Take a bird or
birds. Wildlife,
or sunset or something on that nature.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, so next we have the tripod.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and take that out.
Nothing. Yeah, a tripod is a valuable accessory for achieving stability and elimination camera shake, especially in low light conditions or long exposure shots. Look for tripods specifically designed for smartphones or universal mount adapter to secure your phone. Tripods do come in various sizes and shapes, including tabletop tripods and full size with height adjustable. I did one time buy a tabletop one through Amazon. And this is when I had I'm trying to remember if I had the 10 or when I had the 7 Plus. But they're both around the same size and they worked. It was okay being tabletop. It was, you had the tabletop adapter and you had the adapter that you screw in that would, by friction, you could put the phone in. It worked good. But when I got the 13 Pro Max, it was like, it's too heavy.
Yeah,
too big.
That's right.
It would fit in there, but it's literally so heavy, it would just topple over the tripod.
Yeah.
So, if you have one of the larger phones, you may want to make sure that, because the tripod and the adapter will say, you can use on any iPhone or you can use on any, it's kind of like with the lenses, you get what you pay for.
Yeah,
you do get what
right.
you pay for. And especially if you get a larger one, that can get kind of clunky. If you get like a 3 foot, 4 foot, where you're actually, or you can extend it up to where it's at eye level and you're trying to get a picture. That to me, I mean, they're nice. They're nice. They can get a little pricey, but not too horrible bad. You still need that adapter though, because most of them just have the screw on that most of the cameras already have the screw built in.
Right. Yeah.
So you do need an adapter for your smartphone. But yeah, it's just a matter of, it does help so much, especially like even though we all say, like Reheld does a good job handheld, but you still need to brace it. It isn't like pure handheld like Spectre, where Spectre's really designed for pure handheld. But even that, having that additional brace will, of course, will make your photos better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, this is also where you can get creative if you don't have a tripod handy, but you still have the idea. Like occasionally when I'm doing night photos, I don't necessarily have a tripod handy, but let's say in my backyard, I have the chairs that I have for our back patio set. So I'll use them to set up the phone and put a timer on the phone, a shutter timer, so I can hit the button and step away not only from the shot where I'm not, shaking it or my fingers not causing the phone to shake a little bit. So it's not as good as a tripod because you're just kind of relying on gravity and friction to keep it from falling over and your angle's limited. But if you have to, you can, MacGyver something to at least get it more stable. Also, with the newer iPhones for night photos, if you do get it stable, it will notice it and you can do 30-second shots instead of 10-second shots.
Oh, yeah.
So big advantage of a tripod.
Yeah. Yeah. Tripods are they're great for, taking the photographic approach to photography when shooting with your iPhone.
This is also good if you're at an event and you want to get a group photo or something's going, or even if let's say you have a tripod that folds into a monopod, where the legs will fold up, but you can still use it as a monopod. That will help with action shots. It's still more stable to hold that than it is actually you trying to hold on to the phone and take that photo right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because,
well, when you say group photos, I had a family reunion this summer, and it was on my mom's side, and the family is so big that, and not everybody in attendance was in this picture, but I set my tripod up, put my phone on it, put the timer on for 10-second timer on it, and ran into the picture with 155 other people.
Yeah.
That's a big group. And, so you just wouldn't be able to do something like that without a tripod. But, I mean, you've got these, Joby ones that you can, with the bendable legs that you can wrap around tree branches and stuff like that. There's all kinds of uses for them. And like you say, you don't have to pay big bucks for them.
Oh, no.
The one I have, it is one of the bigger ones. It could be used for a traditional DSLR, but I do like the stability of it. And it's like the name brand on this thing is, I forget what it is even. It's not a common name brand, but I got it at one of the camera shops in town here. And I mean, it might have been a little over $100, but it's certainly not a $300 or $400, $500 carbon fiber thing by any means. But I mean, it's not heavy, really. It's not really light, but it's not real heavy. But usually, if I'm going off into the woods, other than my phone and I might have a couple of lenses in my pocket, that's all I got to carry. So it's not too bad. But
I just happened to look up the Joby the Joby tripod. I mean, with the grip tight.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
$22 on Amazon.
Yeah, there you go.
And that is a small tabletop model.
Yeah,
but that still can be very useful for, and that's a brand name, so that's going to be more expensive than all the knockoff off brands.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well,
now I'm actually going to transition into the next one.
Okay.
Because Ruth just happened to get a tripod with the foldable legs, so you can use it like a selfie stick. Okay. So the idea is I have a selfie stick, or I can use it as a tripod. Well, the other thing that it has in the handle of the tripod is a remote shutter release.
Oh, okay.
A Bluetooth one. So a remote shutter release or a Bluetooth control allows you to trigger the camera without physically touching your phone. Like you said, in terms of, I have a group shot, I want to be in the group shot. If I just sit there, I can be in the group shot and take the photo, and you don't have to worry about getting there, running in location and rejostling and everyone looking, and you can just get there nice and easy. Etc. Yeah, capturing selfies, group photos, long exposure shot where stability is crucial, because even you touching the phone will cause it to shake.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So
definitely.
if you can do it without that, that's a great thing. Now, the most, I would say, the one that Apple would love for you to use is your Apple Watch.
Yes,
because
definitely.
it does have that, and there's Camera Plus has an iPhone, has a watch app, so you can do that. So it's more than just the built-in one you can use. When you're using the watch, like I said, if I'm doing night photography and I have the thing set up, the nice thing is on the watch, you will get a preview of what you see on your watch. So you can, same thing with like a selfie or a group photo, you can look down and say, okay, I can see if everyone's in there. And it's actually, the quality isn't like, miraculous sparkling quality, but it's good enough you can see exactly what you're taking a picture of.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So you can look down, you hit the shutter release, it gives you a 3-second countdown, at least with the Apple Watch, and it gives you a flash as a countdown. So not only will it show on the watch 3, 2, 1, boom, it'll give you a notice on the phone that flash, 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 boom.
Yeah.
So it just makes it easier to deal when you can't be there, or it's better if you're not right there to actually take the photo. But like I said, the nice thing is Ruth It's just Bluetooth, so it's just a matter of, okay, turn the thing on, pair it, just like you do with headphones.
Yeah.
And you can use it as a remote shutter just in your hand. And it's a little small thing, so you can hide it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. The other thing about the Apple Watch is it actually, like, let's say you're doing a self-portrait, and I'm speaking from experience here because I've done this, and I'll look at my watch and I can see myself on there, and it'll actually pick up my face. That little square will come around my face, and that's where it'll focus. Or I can tap to focus, and I can actually tap long press, and it'll actually lock exposure and focus and exposure. And then I can do hit the shutter button, do the 3-second timer thing, and away it goes. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's a great way for composing, like you said, make sure everybody's in there. But it's a great way to compose for like a self-portrait. You want to be, just on one side of the frame or whatever, and it just works so well. But not everybody has the Apple Watch, and that's fine.
Yep.
But you've got like you say, Ruth's tripod has a thing in it, or you could probably buy one at a store or whatever, that a remote Bluetooth shutter. You just pair it, and as Shane Mostyn says, Robert's your mother's brother, and away you go. So yeah, those are great accessories to have in your kit. The next one is external lighting. So it says, consider using external lighting options to enhance the lighting in your photos. Portable LED lights, light rings, or even a simple reflector can help you control the lighting conditions and add more dimension to your images. These accessories are particularly useful for portraits, macro photography, or any situation where available light is insufficient or unflattering. And the last time that I did this was, it was about 3 weeks ago or so. I was out. It was a new moon, so it was nice and dark. And I went out to this place outside of town, parked the car on the road, and the Milky Way was out behind it. So I set the phone up and I did a Milky Way shot, but I wanted to illuminate the car. So what I did was I took my iPhone XS Max and I turned it so that the screen would stay on. And I put it on the center console between the seats, just facing up, and it lit up the interior. And then I got from Shane, I got this little Ulanzi cute light, it's called. It's just a little cube. It's about maybe an inch and a half square, and you can turn it on and off with a button. And I just held it in front of me, and I walked in front of the car, like between the car and the camera, while it's doing its 30-second exposure for the Milky Way. And I lit up the front of the car, and then I would turn it off and light up the side a little bit, and then go and light up the back of the car. But I had to make sure that it wasn't visible to the camera, or it would show up as a light streak as I was moving. So, you got to be careful that way. But that's an example of what you can do with external lighting. And I mean, you could use a flashlight. I've done a macro shot with a flashlight, holding it off to the side to give it side lighting. And there's just so many different possibilities that you could do with these lights. I would say go to Shane Mostyn's YouTube channel. There's a link in the show notes to his channel, and see how he works with these lights when he's shooting at night. It's just crazy good what he can do with these little lights, whether it's an LED bank of lights or whatever. But another thing you can think about is light painting. And there's two, excuse me, I'll edit that out. There's two types of light painting you can do. One is you can like light paint with a flashlight on your subject, or like I did with my car. And the other is you can get like a wand of light, like a light stick or whatever, and walk around in the frame and wave it around and make really cool, patterns of light. And if, you can get different colors and all that stuff. Our local camera club brought up a couple of people from, I think, Toronto, who did a workshop on this, and I had to work, so I couldn't go to it. But it was really cool some of the pictures I saw were amazing. Like you could have a person standing there, and then these lights would be moved around them in ways that would make really cool patterns. And it's there's the possibilities are endless with these external lights. And and like I say, they're great for portraits or macro and all that stuff. So it's just a lot of fun could be had with them. Next we got gimbal stabilizer.
Yep. So a gimbal stabilizer, it's a motorized device. So it makes it different from a tripod or a selfie stick that keeps your iPhone steady and smooth while capturing video footage or taking photos. It provides professional looking stabilization, eliminating unwanted camera movements and vibrations. Gimbal stabilizers allow you to choose a smooth panning shot, follow subjects, or capture cinematic footage with ease. I really don't have any experience with this, but if you've seen almost all of the made with iPhone commercials they do, especially the video ones, they're using gimbals. They're still shot with an iPhone, but there is a $2,000 cage around the phone that gives you that nice cinematic look and feel to it. When there's cheaper ones out there. These are I would say still even the good ones are still a couple $100 though.
Yeah. The Osmo Mobile 6 is on the Apple Store website. And I think it was something like $160 Canadian, which is a really good price. Now, I bought one on Amazon. Now, the only thing about this one is it's a single axis. So you can turn your hand, I want to say like clockwise and counterclockwise like that, and it will stabilize the phone really well. As far as going the other way, forward and backwards, the phone is going to go with it there. So like it's only a single axis, but you can get these ones like there's so many different kinds now, but Osmo Mobile is probably one of the most popular ones. You can get one of those that's a 3-axis gimbal, and boy, oh boy, you can run along with it, and it'll hold things pretty steady, pretty stable. And I have an Osmo Mobile 2, and the design of it is a little different than the design of the newer ones. It's to the point now where my 14 Pro Max is almost too heavy for it. And if I put a lens on it, well, it's even worse. But it's almost to the point where I won't be able to use it too much. But I bought this other little one just because I think it was less than $50 on Amazon. So it was a heck of a deal. And I'm not sure if it was on sale or not, but and I forget what the name of it is offhand, but it's pretty cool. I mean, it does in a pinch. I used it when I filmed some stuff for the family reunion. I made a video, and some of the stuff I filmed, I used this little thing. It's got the little legs pop. You can spread out, and it'll sit there like a tripod, and then it'll extend out, so you can actually use it like a selfie stick if you want. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And so I mean, you can get, like you said, Dave, cages that you can work with 2 hands and hold it like a steering wheel. And I mean, the stability of these things is off the charts. So, that's a great way for, and of course, these things are mostly for films, right? Filmmaking, shooting video. You can use them for photography. The little one that I got, the single axis, I think it has a button on it where when you're connected by Bluetooth, it'll actually trigger the shutter. So, I haven't really played around with it a whole heck of a lot, but I'm gonna try some macro stuff with it. Maybe it'll give me a little versatility in getting closer to my subject, that type of thing, and then just hit the button to take the picture.
I just checked in the DJI Osmo Mobile 6, which is a 3-axis. Now this is stabilizer only. They also offer a bundle with a microphone and charging cable and the Fill Light Pro. But just as that is $150 right now. on the US Amazon store.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, especially let's say if you're doing video for, let's say, a local group or something, it'll make it look smoother and give you that little extra professional touch.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, these new iPhones, ever since basically, as I think it started pretty much with the 11 Pro iPhones, the stability has been getting better and better and better each year. But I think the nice thing about having a gimbal is the fact that, you know, as stable as the iPhone is, it doesn't keep it level all the time. Whereas with a gimbal, it's going to keep it level all the time. So that's the big difference there. And that alone is, if you're shooting video, that alone is a good reason to use a gimbal as opposed to just holding it with your hand.
Mm-hmm.
So next we have, well, it says waterproof cases, but I think we can expand on this. So it says, if you enjoy underwater or adventure photography, consider investing in a waterproof case that allows you to take your iPhone underwater. These cases provide protection against water damage, which, while still allowing you to access the camera functions. Make sure you choose a case that is specifically designed for your iPhone model and rated for the depth you plan to explore. I've never taken my iPhone underwater and probably don't plan to.
No, I would be too. The only reason I would be too nervous is I don't have a backup. I have Apple Care, but they can still say, "Oh, this is water damage." No. So, but I know cases, you know, the cases are sealed or can be properly sealed, and everything's good to go, and you know it will work fine.
Yeah. I mean, they've had some years to develop these things and make them really good. But the other cases that I was going to mention are, you know, I have two examples that I could think of, and one is ShiftCam and the other one is Fjorden. These cases, to call them cases, I don't know if that's even correct, but they're more like grips where you can put your phone in and you can hold them more like a traditional camera. You know, you've got that nice handle that you can, you know, with the shutter release button and all that stuff. And the first time I experienced something like this was with Shutter Case, I think it was called. And I think it will fit my 10s Max, and it has a little grip like that. And the shutter button was actually a physical shutter button where inside the case, these arms went through and then would actually press the volume up button, to actually trigger the shutter. So it wasn't Bluetooth, but it would have a battery in there so that you could actually charge your phone while you're using it.
Okay.
And it also had the lens mount for moment lenses. So I think there's actually I think I did a review of this thing on my website, and you know it was a work in progress when I first got it, but then they they revamped the lens mount system because actually they were holding the lenses a little crooked, but they ended up finding a fix for it, and it got better. But I don't know whatever happened to them. I haven't heard from them since that iteration of it. But with these new ones, like the Fjorden case, for instance, they have their own camera app, but it's also compatible with the Pro Camera and Obscura app. And I think maybe even the Moment app, because it holds the Moment lenses. So maybe the Pro Camera app that they're talking about is the Moment Pro Camera app. I'm not sure, because there is a Pro Camera app in and of itself.
Right.
But you know, these cases are made for those who want the feel of a traditional camera while using their phone. And Matt Hoffman had one. I don't know if it was so much a case or whatever, but it was a thing that he put his phone in. I can't remember what it's called, but it actually shot a lot higher resolution images. So it actually had a camera in it, but it used the
I know
iPhone
what you're talking
for
about.
the viewfinder.
Yes, the
and all
iPhone
that
was the
stuff.
food finder, but the actual, because this was years ago before three lenses and
Yeah, I
the
can't think
great
of what it
zoom
was
and the ultra
called at the
wide.
time,
Yeah,
but and I don't even know if that company's still around either.
it
But
doesn't. No, it went out of business before we were done with Tiny Shutter.
oh, okay,
So it's been 3 years. But yeah, so basically the whole idea was the optic, and it was not only better optic, but it was a bigger lens to let more light in.
yeah, yeah.
So the idea was, well, the iPhone has all this great stuff, but the lenses are good, but they were small, and we're going to
Hmm.
give you this. Put it in this case. This will be your lens. It'll take the photo. We'll have the sensor, so it was a massive sensor, and then we'll just immediately dump it to your iPhone to do processing and everything else.
Right, yeah,
And I think the problem is it was very large. It was kind of bulky, and it was well over $100. I think it may even been like $200 at the time, because
yeah.
I think he bought it after they went out of business for $100.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, there were some limitations, and it was but it was a great idea.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I give these companies props for trying stuff like
Oh
this
yeah.
out, just to expand the use of the
Mhm.
iPhone.
Well, I can also let you know I always carry it. I would just say 95% of the time I have it in a case.
Yeah, same here.
Not a waterproof, but and I did get a case that is specific for shock absorption.
Hmm.
So it is set up where if I do drop it, it has the extra, the extra padding, the extra buffer. It makes it heavier and thicker, but I drop my phone, it doesn't shatter.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, yeah, this segment was about waterproof cases and these other things like from Shift Cam and Fjorden, but I mean cases in general. Um, I wouldn't go like sometimes I'll go a day or two without a case on mine, but the darn thing's so slippery when it's not in a case that you got to be careful where you put it. And gosh, if it did fall, you're taking a real chance
Even with a case,
the thing.
even with a case, you're taking a chance,
Yeah, but
because you're taking
the
less of a
chance.
chance. But
Yeah, it's a lot less of a chance for sure. But I just feel better knowing even just like the Apple case that I've got. I just know I feel a lot better knowing that it's in something. And when I go into the car, I don't have wireless CarPlay, so I have to plug it in. And when I do,
right,
it goes into this little shelf in the front of the console. And when it's in a case, I can just throw it in there and not have to worry about it. But when it's not in a case, I put it in gently and make sure it doesn't hit something. I mean, and that's probably going a little too far because these things are made very well. But
it's still
dadgummit, I don't
glass.
want to scratch it.
Yeah, it's still glass.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give two quick stories. One was my now this is an old one, iPhone 4S,
Oh yeah.
and the back was already starting to crack. And so it was like, yeah, I want to hold off. And I was like, I want to hold off because I know the new ones are coming soon. And I want to hold off till the new one because and my hand went into my pocket to take it out. And I want to say I had a very light case. I didn't have a really good one. And it just flung, and
Oh
it went
no.
across the parking lot like a skipping stone, and you saw it go boom,
Oh no.
and the front was completely shattered. It was dead. It worked. I shouldn't say it was dead. It worked. In fact, I have it because it's like no one's going to give me any money for this. So it's a nice little, hey, here's what a 4S looked like with the 3.5-inch screen. This is what the Max looks like to compare.
Yeah, yeah.
But and the other thing is from a race that was 2019, and it was a short-ish race. So I wanted to take a picture because it snowed the night before, so it was very picturesque. And I just had the phone in my pocket as I'm running. And I'm running along and I'm like, oh, I want to take a picture. And I reached in there and I had running gloves on. So they weren't as thick as normal gloves. And I got it out and it slipped and it fell right on the ground.
Oh no.
Right on the concrete. And I'm running along. It's like, and I was like, not good. So I stopped, turned around, got it. It was fine. It was fine. Wow. It was like, it was just a tidge below freezing. So it was,
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was cold and it was just a matter of it, but it made it, but I had a case on it. Without the case, I don't think would have had a chance.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're talking frozen concrete that, you don't want to mess with it. But yeah, so yeah, and like I said, even if you have Apple Care, because who wants to go without their phone because it's broke? Get the case, people. They're not that expensive for decent ones either.
Yeah, that's right. Well, next we've got external microphones. If you're interested in recording high quality audio or high quality audio for videos or interviews, consider using external microphones. There are various options available, including clip-on, lapel microphones, directional microphones, or wireless mics that connect to your iPhone. External microphones significantly improve the audio quality and reduce background noise. I've got one here on Shane's recommendation. It's by a company called Cinco. And boy, oh boy, this thing, you could put it on the inside of a coat and it'll still pick up your voice like it was nothing. It is so good. And the range is, oh gosh, I don't know what the range is, but I could be across the street and halfway down the block and it would probably still pick up to the phone. So it's got great range and a great audio pickup, and it's just a little clip-on thing. And let's see, what has it in here in the case? It has, okay, so yeah, there's a receiver that you plug into the lightning port of your phone, and then the mic itself clips onto your shirt or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's I forget how much it costs. I really can't remember, but that's just one type. There's so many different types. There's what's one of the Rode mics. You can get the ones with the big ball of fur on it. They call that the dead cat, which really helps with the wind noise. But the nice thing about this one here, when it fits inside my coat or my shirt or whatever, it's not going to pick up that wind noise because it's protected. So I haven't really done a lot with it, but I do plan on trying it out a little more and seeing how it works.
Actually, one thing that's funny is that I was on AwesomeCast this past week. Oh, yeah. And one of the things that someone brought on, because they do professional, videography and everything else. Now, they're not using this with an iPhone. They're doing this with a DSLR camera. But it was an external mic. Theirs they did was from Movio. That was only $40. Okay.
How much?
It was $40.
Well, that's not bad.
No. And it came really with the mic. Yeah, it came with the mic. The plug to put in. Let me see here. It did have the furry windscreen. Mm-hmm. It had a smartphone cable and a camera cable and the actual microphone itself. So nice. It was a big fluffy thing. It was a nice size, big fluffy. And the other person had, I'm actually checking the notes here. It was more of a lapel pin, a lapel. Let's see if I can find it here. No, I can't find it, unfortunately. But it was like a lapel mic, but it still had the windscreen on it. So it was still an idea of you can use this and doing interviews that work great. And like I said, the price the price is really not that bad.
No,
if you want to do the additional and I'm sure Joe does better, but Joseph Ferreira, who from Tiny Shutter, he did, I think he still does video for his church. So he does live streaming video for his church for Sunday services. And you definitely don't want to necessarily rely on the build, even though the built-in mic for the iPhone's good. If you're streaming something live, you may want a better mic and a more directional mic. Yeah. So having that on top of it, and we were talking about the cages that you could use for the, like, putting those cages attached to a tripod. They have some of them actually have attachments that you can put the external mic and the external lighting and everything else, so it's spaced out and not just attached right to the phone. If you want to go like the extra step or two.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like the filmmakers will they've got these beast grip cages and stuff, and they'll just rig it all out with a microphone attached and all that stuff, and they plug into the phone and everything else to sync the audio and stuff. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use these external microphones, but I mean, you and I, we're just going more on what we've seen than what we've done ourselves.
Right. Or we heard other people use.
Yeah. So lastly is editing accessories, Dave.
Yeah. So there we go. In addition to capturing photos, accessories can also enhance your editing workflow, such as a stylus or an Apple Pencil if you want to have more precise control over editing apps, especially for like selective or retouching or selective adjustments. It's your finger, the phone still does, and this is true, I imagine true with Android. It's so amazing that your finger can get as precise as it can, but it still helps to have that pen. Because like, especially with the Apple Pencil where you can tilt it, and tilting it changes how thick of a selector you have. Yeah. And also with the pencil or a pen, your finger's not getting in the way. Because like sometimes when I'm doing editing, my fat finger's actually covering up what I'm trying to select.
Yep.
And with the Apple Pencil, with the Apple Pencil, you don't have that cover up as much. So it makes it a lot easier to deal with that way.
Now, forgive my ignorance on this point, Dave, man. Hopefully but is the Apple Pencil, will it work on an iPhone or is it just iPad?
I think it's iPad only.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't have one, so I don't know. Like my wife has an iPad, but we don't have the Apple Pencil to go with it. But.
Ruth has the Generation 2 with the iPad.
Okay.
But let me see here. Neither supports an iPhone because they use different display technology, so it will not work. Now, if you get just a capacitive stylus, which you can get for like $10,
with a little rubber tip,
exactly, that will work. That will work. Okay, but it doesn't give you all the fancy with the Apple Pencil, because that's Bluetooth connected up, and with the additional pressure, and the new ones where you can hover over with the pencil. Yeah. And it'll select it that. But again, if all you're looking for a nice basic stylus, it can help out.
Yeah. Yep. And a lot of people who shoot with their iPhone will edit on an iPad. Yeah. Just because of the the larger screen, and a lot better to see that way. And those who create digital art with image upon image, and using apps like iColorama, I think it's called, or even Art Card, like the one that you play around with. Yeah. Using it on a tablet, like an iPad, with the pencil would probably be so much better and a much better experience than trying to do it on the phone. So, again, that's a thing that you and I don't have a lot, if any, experience with. Yeah. But we've seen it done, and
and like I said, it depends on if you notice that you're doing editing and you're like, you're getting aggravated.
Yeah.
And I would say, like I said, the Apple Pencil you need an iPad for. And you got to make sure you get the right one with the right iPad, because some work on some and some not work on others. And Apple, please fix that, because you should not have to figure out which pencil you're getting with what iPad. And then the first generation one where it kind of stuck out the end of the lightning port to charge was moronic. I don't know who thought that would be a good idea. But even, like I said, getting a decent just a stylus that you hold, even if you're using it with your phone, just to give you that little extra removal for yourself. And but again, like I said, if you're noticing that it's like, I wish I had, give it a try. And they're not, like I said, they're not that expensive.
Yeah, and chances are it's going to be thinner than your finger, so you're going to be able to see the screen a little better.
And also, instead of trying to hold your finger and poke at it, you're holding it like a pencil, which most people of a certain age are probably used to writing versus typing.
Yeah.
All I'm saying that if you're under 20, you probably do a whole lot more typing and doing stuff on the phone than you actually do with holding a pencil and writing it on a pencil or pen and writing on a piece of paper.
Yeah. And for those who do edit on a computer, they may have a Wacom tablet where they can use a pencil and things like that. I tend to think, it's probably more geared for professional users than just the average user like you and I. I certainly wouldn't use one of them. I have a trackpad with my computer it came with a keyboard and a trackpad. I could use it. Well, I do use it actually. But again, it's with my finger and it's not as precise as a pencil would be, but still does the trick. Not that I do a lot of editing on the computer, which I tend to I probably do 95% of it on the phone, because I just like that.
Same here.
Complete mobile experience. So all right. Well, that pretty much does it for using accessories. So to summarize, remember to research and choose accessories that are compatible with your specific iPhone model. Experiment with different accessories, but also consider the specific needs and interest of your photography style. Accessories can enhance your iPhone photography experience and provide you with new creative possibilities. And I would say that sums it up pretty well.
And I'll add something that you mentioned and that a lot of people may not think about. If you have a local camera shop, not a big box store, but a real local camera shop, go and talk to them. They may say, "Oh, you're interested. Here, give this a try," like they did with you. Or even even if they may say, "Well, you know what? Stay in the store." If you don't have a relationship with them, if they're not familiar with you, but they may say, "Oh, here, give it a try. Take a shot in the store and try to do some things here," versus buying on Amazon or Best Buy, where you're going to get someone who really doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. You can't always trust those reviews.
No, but even someone who works at Best Buy, because they have to know everything. I'm not denigrating people who work at Best Buy. I'm just saying, if you work at Best Buy, you have to know, you're going to have people come up and say, "Oh, where's your TVs at? Oh, what kind of PCs do you have?"
Yeah, you have to know a little bit about a lot of things.
Exactly.
Whereas in a camera shop, you can know a lot about a little bit of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, it is good to support local small businesses too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, before finishing up, I just want to, we got a message from Todd Weiner, I'm not sure how he's pronouncing that, from Los Angeles, who listens to the show. And he says, "Love the podcast and have listened to every episode." Thanks, Todd. That is awesome. Congratulations on the forthcoming 100th show.
Okay.
So 2 comments. In the last episode, when you mentioned pano shooting, you left out the best tip that most people don't know. To end the pano, simply reverse direction. You know what? I knew that, and I was trying to think of it that night, but I couldn't remember what it was. And,
I did not know that. I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Oh yeah, it's actually works really well. So if you're going across your scene, all of a sudden you just point, go the other way, bang, it stops. And Dave's trying it right now.
Blink. Wow. Yeah.
Is that cool or what? Yeah, no need to press any buttons, so you eliminate any shaking or blurring of the photo. So that's really neat. And the other thing the other point that he put down was you mentioned the possibility of doing a show to cover all of the editing tweaks on the native Apple Photos app. I would highly recommend watching this first episode, which is free from the iPhone Life magazine on this topic. It is well covered by the host. The meat of the lesson begins about 7 minutes in. The link is added below. So I'm going to check that out, and I'll put the link in the show notes. It's a really long link, so I'll make a short link of for it, and put it in the show notes, and check that out. Well, thanks, Todd. Thanks for listening, and we love to hear.
Yeah, I was going to say thanks so much for taking the time and giving us feedback. And
we love this kind of thing, and we encourage it. And he wrote this through the contact page on the website, so it's there, folks. If you want to give us some feedback like that, or tell us what you like, what you don't like, we're all ears. And and it's been, I think, the only one that we've ever had, other than me sending a test message. I did a test one, and I just said just me.
Well, no. So and you know what, I sort of understand, because. And I think a lot of people just don't like web forms.
True. Yeah.
Inherently. But you know what? There's email to contact us. We love having, like I said, there's also the Facebook group. We've seen people post, responses there from recent episodes, or, I saw you mention about this, and here's the photo I tried to do based on the tip you gave. We love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. So thanks again, Todd. That's awesome feedback, and I'm definitely going to check out that link you sent, and I will post a link to that in the show notes for this episode. And now, remember, folks, next episode 2 weeks from now is episode 100, and we got some things to give away to some winners, and we're going to do it by inserting some code words in the episode that you're going to have to really listen for. And we'll tell you what the code word is when we say it, but you have to tell us what that code word is. So between now and then, I'll figure out the best way to, for you to tell us what the code word is. I suspect it will probably be on the Facebook page, or and the Facebook group or whatever. It's in the show notes. So if you're not in the Facebook group, you can go there. But I'm going to have an alternative way, because not everybody's on Facebook. Right. So I'll try to think of another way to do that. And whatever we come up with for ways to put your basically your entries in, they'll be in the show notes for that episode. So we'll figure something out, but you'll be able to catch these code words and hopefully win something really, really cool. So should be fun. And we're hoping to have a little more than that lined up too. You never know. You never know what we're going to do, because we don't know what we're going to do either half the time. We do this show I'd say flying by the seat of our pants, Dave?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I would say, except for the last few weeks where we had the outline.
Yeah.
But yes. Yeah.
And I keep thinking to myself, we should have outlines all the time. But then, we're both working and we get things on the go. And then, it's Monday. We're recording tonight. What are we going to talk about?
Well, like I said, luckily the next episode, the 100, will pretty much write itself. And then I'm assuming we will have a very special surprise episode later that week, because heavy rumors are on September 12th, which will be the day after the next episode, will be the presentation
Oh,
for the
okay.
15th.
Cool. So if that's the case, then I'll get you to record.
Yeah.
With hopefully somebody we can get to come on with you, because I will be working that night, and
yes.
I won't be able to do a show at least until like the weekend after. So that'll be well too late.
Yeah.
So we'll hopefully get somebody lined up to come on with you and talk some shop and about all the features and stuff that they announce in the next iPhone. So that'll be cool. Alrighty. Well, tell everybody where they can find you.
Sure. You can find me on most social media as Prof Pod, on TikTok as Prof Pod PGH, and on the Facebook group as Dave Podner Jr.
Alrighty. And you can find me on, the best place to go is about.me/McMillan. And that's, you'll find my social links and stuff all there. And I guess that's pretty much it. So, all right. Well, great show, Dave. And, we got one more episode in the Perfect Picture series, but it's going to be the show after the episode 100. So, and just as a heads up, it will be developing your unique style. So that's going to be a good one. And I'm going to see if we can't get a special guest to come on with us there. I'm hoping, but I'm not going to promise. Anyway, so, okay. Well, thanks, Dave. And I guess we'll see everybody on the next one.
Have a great one, everyone.
Alrighty.